Hello fellow map makers, welcome to another live map making session. I'm seeing already that my video is flickering again, so I need to fix that if I can. Stupid thing, I did specifically fix this earlier, but as soon as I go live, this turns to the wrong FPS again. Alright, there we go. Say hi to Asa. She's here right at the start. Okay. That's weird. Something seems to have gone wrong. I'm just... I should be live, but it seems... Oh, no, okay. All good now. Was confused there for a second. Excellent, thank you very much. So let's quickly put that in the chat and concentrate on the video again. Hello everybody, welcome to another live map making session here from Germany. And I'm Fractal Terrains of Prophecy Software, and I'm here to show you the latest Cartographer's Annual issue, the February issue that we released on the weekend, and I want to show you how to use the included tools, which means we are going to be looking at Fractal Terrains for a bit today, or other main software, and gonna use the world generation in there and export the resulting world into Campaign Cartographer and the style that came with the annual issue. Alright, hope everybody is fine. Just a quick reminder, if you like our content, if you like these videos, please do give us a like and subscribe to the channel. And that makes the videos a little more visible on the whole ocean of videos on YouTube. Alright, so let's see what we've got. We've got a style to do large overland maps, world maps, continental maps in this parchment style, which is based on the style we did last year already, but this time we're going to go for a cooperation between Campaign Cartographer and Fractal Terrains to automate most of the world generation process and then go in and add details within Campaign Cartographer. If you have any questions during the session, as Sue just posted in the chat, please post them there and we'll see that we answer anything, and I'll try to show stuff on screen if you've got any questions. Alright, so let's get into the map making, and for that we are gonna switch to Fractal Terrains for a bit. And here we are, and I've got Fractal Terrains here with one of the example maps that come with the program open, and one of the color profiles that defines the map block that were created by Sue for her one-day World Builder annual issue some years ago. And I'm going to show you how to create a new world, but also how to apply this to a existing Fractal Terrains world that you might already have. And the cat is trying to play with my cable, so I hope I won't get too distracted. Alright, so let's have a look. Here we are at the map, and we do have a certain view here, and an orthogonal view that is seeing the globe of the world as if you were looking from space. And because Fractal Terrains generates the world on a proper globe, and you can show it in different projections, map projections. And just to show you here the difference, this is the projection, and the current one is orthographic, and the typical one, which we're going to use later, is the equirectangular view, which is your classical, almost Mercator style view. And if you zoom in a bit, you can see. No, come on, where's my... There we go. See the nice coloring and the shape of the fractally generated continent here. So how would we go about creating such a map like this one here? Well, we'd start a new world in Fractal Terrains like this. Click that, choose the option Synthetic World, and here we define the settings of the world. The highest peak in the world, let's say, well, we want something like that's similar to Earth with a little more than 8,000 meters or 24,000 feet. Mount Everest, that is the highest peak. And for lowest depth, we are going to go for something similar. Let's say 27,000 feet. Circumference is the default size, is approximately the circumference of Earth. The world seed is the random generation seed number that defines the whole look of the world. And then we do have a fractal function that generates the world. I'm going to stay with one here. You can change the fractal function. There's several different options, and this is just a matter how you want the style of your map to look. They will be completely different, because while the world seed is the same, the function is completely different, and it will generate a completely different look. Let's first take a look at the rest here. Roughness is how many mountains versus how larger hillier areas. Percent sea is easy, percent ocean versus the percent land. This, for example, is about 70% sea. And the lens size, larger lens size means larger, more continuous continents, smaller lens size, more smaller islands and island chains. Let's keep these settings and see finish. And you're already seeing that because I did change the coloring earlier. We already changed to our coloring for this annual issue. That was actually not my intent. I forgot to set it back. And I'm going to just reload the coloring one we had previously to show you how that would look like the other example map we had. There we go. And if I zoom out, you'll see the whole map here. And you see this is kind of a bit of a weird shape with these stringy continents. And there's already a first question on whether there's a way to guide Fractal Terrains in its creation, like saying I want a continent here perhaps, another here. No, that's not how Fractal Terrains works. But what you can easily do, you can just simply flick through different mapping world seeds, and each one gives you a completely different world. And as you can see, you get quite a good selection of different ones, also in shape and size, and that makes it quite easy to find something that you like. For example, this is much more to my liking for our normal continent. I could save this or keep looking. I can always go back and forth. If I go, they will not be randomly set each time. So if I go back, I get back to the specific world seed I had earlier. And I'll find something that I like. Or what I can also go through, I can see whether I change my fractal worlds, my fractal function, and see whether it gives me results that I prefer. So I could go into the map world settings and the fractal function, and let's grab something else for a change. Let's change the FBM with Poland's improved noise. Personally, I have no idea about the mathematics behind this, so all these names are just Bohemian villages, as we say in German. For me, I have no idea what that means. And as you can see here, this is already quite a different look of larger, more blocky continents with this style, but I can go through the random seed just as with the other options, and this also gives quite a nice world style. It does give large, big mountain ranges in the interior of the continents all the time, though. There we go. See, some nice islands here. Oh, let's go back into the world settings and see whether we can see what this function does. And see here we do have the style with a little bit more broken up, stringier continents, which also can. Some of these are very strange, but other worlds are really nice with this fractal function. There we go. See, tools, world settings, the map world settings. Here we are. And let's go back to the original one we had. Quite like that. And you can always change the view of the globe here by dragging the globe around, taking other parts of the map in the center of your view, like this. And see, we have this interesting shape with all the seas. I quite like this. Let's move it a little further around, like here. And let's use this for our map for a start. So what do I want to do? I want to export this for a world map, for a parchment style world map. Let's first save these Fractal Terrains world to keep it around, so we can always get it back. There we are. And first off, I want the parchment style look already a little bit within Fractal Terrains, and that's where we use the coloring options. Here we go, and we do have all these CA218 styles are coloring styles that came with the annual issue. All right, and let's load that. And so if you want just the coast outline with two colors, then color change on the coastline, you can take the two color versions. This is nice. Or if you want a blue sea outline, blue sea background, take this. Or if you just want the black and white version, this one here, then we do have load some with more mountain ranges showing and coloring range. Same in black and white or grayscale reverse, that basically changes the land to the light version and the ocean to the dark version. And this is the default parchment coloring, and also with a reverse option with the sea darker than the land. I'm going to go for the default parchment coloring like this, and there we have already a little impression of the map. We do have the grid in blue on here, so if you want to change that, we can go into the image overlays, show the overlay window. Oh no, actually, I thought we had the grid in that view. I seem to remember that I had the grid showing in the overlays? No, I don't. No, that's not. This is the grid here. There we are, the grid settings. I was confused there for a moment, sorry. Here we go. And I do have the grid showing here, and I can just edit this and make the color also a dark brown, like this, to match the rest of the map. And the cat is still around, wanting attention. Sorry, Asa, you've got to wait a few more minutes. And or we can also just go in, edit this, and hide the sheet. We could also delete it, but I want to keep it around. Oh, I can actually do that with this button here, hide and show. And there our grid is gone. There's speculation about me forgetting to feed Asa. No, I certainly did not forget to feed her. She was just not hungry. They didn't touch any food yet. All right, so. And there was a question I saw in the chat from Kevin whether we will be doing a Fractal Terrains 4 at the same time that CC4 comes out. That's not going to be possible. That just goes beyond our capacity to work, especially since Joe would have to do much of that, completely the Fractal Terrains work and a lot of the CC4 work, and therefore that's not going to happen. We'll gonna be doing the stuff like this in stages as usual, one thing after another. All right, and then let's gonna go ahead, and now I'm happy with the map, or actually I could edit the map a little bit. Let's do a little bit of an edit here just to show you what you can do. Say I wanted to fill in a bit of area here with coastline. Let's see whether I can still do that. I have not used Fractal Terrains for quite a bit. So let's have a look. Action, paint values, prescale land offset, I think is the best thing. Land offset, I do have the size set for my cursor. You'll probably not be able to see that on the video screen. It's a very faint line, but I can. No, I do need to set the properties of the tool. For that, I need to see my tools, the tool options here. The cat is getting in the way again. And I think my tool options are somewhere off to the side. Let's have a look. Quick look here. Nope. I'm not. My Fractal Terrains is not set up for the video screen here. That's a bit of a problem. I should have the tool option somewhere where I can set how many, what the click with the land tool does, how much change it does, and so on. I'm just not sure where my toolbar is for that at the moment. Oh, that was the one there on top. It should be in the tool options. Here we go. That's part of this here. New properties, and I can't get back to that. Okay. You shouldn't start doing new stuff without having thought about that before the video session. So let's have a look here again. No. This is the properties. No, I think I don't have my screen set up correctly for a Fractal Terrains here, and I'm not in the frame of mind to do that here on screen. So we're not going to be doing the editing of the world in this session. We're going to do that at another time again. I've done videos on Fractal Terrains world editing before. I'm sure you'll be able to find them in the playlist. Here we go. So because what I wanted to mainly show you is to how to export this to Campaign Cartographer now. So let's go to File, and here we have the option to save the Campaign Cartographer file. And there we are with the export settings, and the first one there in the list is the one from this month's annual issue, the CA 218 Parchment World. And we could just export this. I'm just going to quickly go to edit here and show you some of the options you can do. This is basically what you want to export. We are just interested in the altitude colors here. You can also do temperature and rainfall and climate and Fractal Terrains. It's all generated with the world, and export that to Fractal Terrain, to Campaign Cartographer, but I'm not going to do that today. And the important thing here is that we're using a template as the export basis, and that's the one that comes with the annual issue. Again, you see the CA 218, the number of the annual issue, and if I click on, I can load different ones, and these are in the program data folder for Fractal Terrains 3+, and that's the new one here. The other ones are from the Fractal Terrains install. So let's grab that again. Well, just cancel because it's already loaded in here, and click next. And here's basically the altitude contours that get exported, because Fractal Campaign Cartographer naturally doesn't have the internal structure to handle with the full world like Fractal Terrains does. So we're exporting certain altitude contours to Campaign Cartographer. We're mainly interested in the coastline, and I'm also including some of the higher altitudes to reference mountains and so on, but the main thing is to have the altitude outline. And because we've set this to match fill, the export will match the coloring here in the setting, and that's why the coloring in Fractal Terrains is important for this export. All right, click next again. And here's the output, desired output level. I'm fine here with the highest amount of detail. The other stuff is not so important for our settings here. And here we can say whether we want the rectangular grid on the map, whether we want a tightly fitting border. So I'm going to do a little change here. I'm just going to say I don't want the rectangular grid on this one. So I'm going to disable that. I can even already put a map title in there, but I can easily do that in Campaign Cartographer. All right, and there we go. And then I'm just going to click Export, and I'm going to go to my video. Fantasy Streams video folder. Here we are. And gonna export that. And I just wanted to quickly show you how to do that with the pre-existing map. So if I'm gonna go back and load the example map I had on when I started this setting, we are in this different map projection. I could export in this view here without any problems, but it would just show this section, because the exported Campaign Cartographer from Fractal Terrains will always be the section or the view shown in the Fractal Terrains view. So to change that to something more fitting to our campaign cutover template, we do need to change the projection. What you don't normally do is, we would have started originally with this other coloring. What you do, you'd also choose your parchment world coloring. Then I'm going to change to a different projection. I could go for rectangular again. I can also choose one of the other ones. We do have the Mercator projection here. We could use that, or some of these more specialized ones. I quite like this one. Might be a bit weird on our rectangular template. Let's give that a try. I'll just take a look at that. I'm going to use the stereo hemispheres. Here I've actually not used that before. So I'm going to click OK. There we are. And I'm also gonna change the grid setting again and hide this. Oh, yep, I'm gonna hide the grid. And then we're gonna do the same thing, save campaign cartographer file, and this time just straight export. I do need to select the one I want to use first though. Here we go. Export world, and export this to a different file. Oop. No, I don't want to replace an existing one. Okay. There we go. And close. And that's what we've done in Fractal Terrains. And now let's switch to Campaign Cartographer. Here we are in our example map from the annual issue. And I've got to go to the video folder again. This is streams, Fractal Parchment Walls, and here are the two exports. Lab, scrape. And there you can see we are on the black background here, actually. No, this is actually Fractal Terrains. Okay, it does look like that export has some problems. It did, because it just closed Campaign Cartographer there. Interesting. Let's try that again. But it looks like the export there might be broken. That's weird. Yes. This is streams. No, that was the wrong one. Parchment worlds. My world. Does show up fine here. Let's open. No. Okay. First off, it does look strange, but that's because we are zoomed in a strange location. Let's zoom to extend, and you're going to see that we've got the whole map world shown here. If we zoom in, you can see it does look a bit this the interplay of the textures and the lighting is to my eyes just now I see the sea as the land and vice versa, and not the darker brown is the land, and as you can see from the coast outlines, but because of the darkening shadow here, it does play tricks on my eyes and looks like the other way around, because this looks like it's in front of the sea looks like it's in front of everything else. Let's see whether we can change that a bit, and by, for example, making the land contour inner glow a bit weaker, exactly as Sue said. I think it's the dark glow, and that would be on the land sheet. And we have two glows here, so we've got to check which is which. This is the inside glow, and yeah, and let's make this quite a bit smaller. Yeah, and that's already a lot better. There we go, and this is much more to my liking. You could also switch the textures around if you wanted to. For example, if I say I want the textures changed, I can go in and have a look here. The land has the texture overblend. Or first off, let me explain the texture overblend here. Basically, the Fractal Terrains can only export vector images with a solid fill or a hollow fill. It can't export bitmap fills because Fractal Terrains does not have the bitmap fills. So what we've done in this template is we've assigned texture overblends to the certain sheets, and that will put the texture on that sheet like the land here. If I turn this off, you can see that I get the solid brown similar to the one I have in Fractal Terrains for the land. If I can go in and also take the contour C, that is the other one with the texture overblend, turn that off. See, I get the bright one there. And that means I can quite simply change these overblends by copying them or switching them out. So I'm going to put this one on this layer here. Actually, I'm going to move this up, but the color key should be the first in the list. There we are. I could, there's a question from Sue whether I could set this up for any sheet and template. Yes, you could also put both in and just disable one and enable the other to make it easy to quickly change between them. Oops, and then go back to Ctrl C, paste the other one in here. And see, no, I don't think I have the wrong way. Both are now the same, are they? They think they look a bit different because I've got different scales on them, but they are the same. The same parchment dark, and this one is also parchment dark. I have the same ones on this one here. Oops. Delete. Delete. To land again. Have a look. That's the parchment dark. Yes, and this should be the other one. Yeah, that's the land very high parchment scale. So let's copy this. Go here, paste it, and enable that one. Yep. And now we do have the two textures swapped out. I find that this one here is now a bit too small. I can see the repetition in here. So what I'm gonna go in there on this, that's on the land sheet actually, the texture. No, stupid, that's on the contours level. One, and let's make this quite a bit larger. Oh, I can still make this larger. There, that's better. And I might also make this one a bit larger. Okay. Let's zoom out. And there, that's more to my liking in this case. It always depends a bit on how the shape of the continent is, how much land versus how much sea, which you see as the land and the sea in this style. So you can always change that as you need. Good. For a moment, I'm gonna delete the other texture overblends and disable them, the other ones, because I want to see my other height contours. Oh, actually they are not showing. Did I not export them, or are they the same color? Oh, might have been that I did not export. I was thinking I had other contours exported, but perhaps the contours were too high and not showing on their map. I'm not entirely sure, but it's fine. We're gonna work like this. I'm just gonna go here that you can see that you can also just quite nicely use the map without the textures. If you want to go for the straight vector solid style, you can just disable the texture overblends. Okay, so let's have a look what I want to do next. I'm now going to work on this a little bit. I'm not going to work on the complete map. I'm just going to show a few things. For example, I'm going to put in a mountain range. I'm just going to grab one of the mountain ranges here. The tools, just draw a line. And yeah, that's weird. It's just a few dots. And if you go in here, you'll see that there are mountains, but they're just tiny. And that's the problem, is that Fractal Terrains can't set the symbol scale on the map that it creates. So if we're going to go in here, we've just got a symbol scale of 1, but the map is very large. It's a whole world map after all, so we do need a much larger symbol scale. And the easiest thing to do is just grab one of the mountains, scale it up until you've got something that's about the size you want. Say you want this, seems to be about right. Let's go perhaps for the whole map. See, yeah, looks fine to me. Then I'm going to go right click and see I've got a 26.35 and something scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my default symbol scale to 25. There we are. Save. And now I'm going to redraw my mountain range. And there I've got proper mountains. If I want to make this a little bit wider, I can take a second line and just draw it parallel there. Perhaps another one for a bit behind the mountains. There we go. And then I'm going to grab some individual mountains, large ones. First turn right and set it back to normal, because the macro that places all the mountains does make them smaller towards the end. And then I'm just going to put in some mountains here. And some smaller ones. And also some hills. Just be a bit careful with the overlap. And then I'm gonna go symbols, sort symbols and map, probably my most shown tool in all the videos. And then I've got my nice mountain range here. Let's say I also wanted to put in a river. Let's go up here again. Let's have a look at the river tools. Let's take a default river, and as you already can see from the pink coloring, we have a color key effect. Let's see how large these are. These are because they are set to scale with the map size, with the extent of the map border. They do have a nice width already. Refresh, and you can see that puts a nice little river in there. These will also be here. Oh, actually, yeah, there's the default river. And there's my next river on the map. Continue adding a few more little rivers here. And there we do have our rivers on this subcontinent added. Right, and from there we can do other stuff. I'm probably not going to put in forests here because I want to keep to that very specific black and brown and beige or tan coloring. The forest terrain here would introduce a bit of a green tone into the whole mix, which I'm not fancying at the moment. What I can do is I can darken some areas. Say I wanted to make the background of the mountains a little bit darker. I can just draw this polygon here. And yes, you can see, oh, that's probably, let's have a quick look. Where did that go? That's on the terrain sheet, and perhaps the sheet effect is a bit edge fade inner. Yeah, it's 2% of drawing is tanks width, and because the map is very wide and we are working on a small area here, our overblend or our edge fade is extending quite a large way and hiding or vanishing most of the fill, and there you can see we do get it even back. But we might even on this style of map we could totally disable that, and then we have the outline here on, which I think works quite nicely. All right, and then let's see with structures. Let's put in a big city here. Seems like on this isthmus here, like seems to be a natural choice for an important city. Put that in here, and also a castle not too far away from that. Go. And I could now go on and continue building up the mountain ranges and rivers and structures for the rest of the map. But what I want to do is I wanted to put a bit of labeling on the map and show you the text tools again. I'm also thinking perhaps I'd want these outlines of these a bit darker, very prominent. So let's have a look at the symbols structures and make the outer glow a little bit smaller. Okay, I got a bit weaker with just 50% and perhaps 0.75 range. Okay, I think I lost a 0 in there. Yeah, to make it smaller, it should be 0.075. And that's more to my liking. So I'm gonna have a look at the symbols here within the map definition, like for the map title. So if I wanted to put a world name on the map here, I can click the map title. And actually, probably I should make sure that I'm on default symbol scale set. Oh, yeah, I'm very large here at the moment. Put that down, and let's call it the world of. Okay, we're gonna do Rathia. Okay, and there we are. Oops, that's weird. I think that was from accidental previous placement. Or is it? Let's try again. What was that? World of Rathia. No, that was weird interaction. Not quite sure what happened there. No matter, I'm gonna scale this up. Just make this larger. And I'm gonna put it. Think this is a good place to put the title. Zoom in a bit and let's put in the name for the subcontinent here. So let's call that West Pirken. scale the text to a size that we can reach. I'm going to mid-center the text, place it here a little bit at an angle on the subcontinent. Refresh, and I think looks like our text is behind the other stuff. Oh, okay. Didn't have symbols sheet on this. That's weird. I've got to double check the template. I'm a bit surprised that the symbols sheet was added at the end of my sheet list, and that's why the mountain symbols are above the text. So let's put them there where they belong. Well, that's better. Then we do have a special sheet for smaller text, like for our cities. And let's do that. Let's have a look at the text font. We're very large at the moment with italic and bold. Let's take the bold and italic away. And I'm going to resize the scale visually in a sec. So I'm going to keep that, and no, I don't want to edit. Yes, here we are. Let's call the city New Bolton and make it smaller, bottom left. It's about the size I can see using on the map. And let's come back of a remorse that last used text setting, so I just can put in Castle Grange in here. Okay, top left, no, top right, put it on the other side next to this here. And I might want to move this text a little bit now, so I can. These are a little bit off from away from each other. Yes, as Sue mentions, these mountain tools do need to leave the lines behind that get placed, because the macros using these to place the mountains can't delete the line. And normally they are on a sheet which is almost completely transparent, but perhaps not. Forgot to set this in this style. Let's have a look. First off, I'm gonna move the text here as I intended, move it a bit up. Then I'm gonna grab the mountain line here, like this one. It's on the terrain sheet. Okay. Yeah, I think that's because in the original style this was about the same coloring as the other stuff, or there's the background, and therefore almost invisible. What we can do is we can delete by layer minerals mountains and combine and entity type 2D path, or actually 2D spline. It's a smooth path. Press D for do it, and then they are gone. Most of the time they will be completely hidden behind the mountain symbols, but these mountain range tools do leave these lines used to draw them behind on the map. All right. And that's how we would go on building the world map from here. What we can do is we also wanted to do a bit of map labeling for the oceans. So let's do this with a little bit of a curved text. So let's go to a text layer and the sheet text. Draw a bit of a line. And then you can put in the text on that line by draw text along a curve. Here, let's call this the Emerald Sea. Here we can decide whether the text goes on top of the line, across the middle of the line as it's currently set, or below the line. I'm going to keep the middle. I want to delete the line afterwards. And OK. And I'm seeing my text is a bit too light, so I should have set it to the color of the other text before. So what I'm going to do, change color. Use this because it's a grouped text now. I can select it in one go. I might perhaps make it a little bit lighter than the other text because it's on the bright sea background. So let's make it color 38. And it's also a bit small, so I can also change text properties. And instead of 300, make it 450. Still a bit small. Change text properties prior. Let's make it 600 and also bold. And that's better. Do it like this for the text labels, though perhaps not the bold. If I zoom out, I don't like the bold so much anymore, so I'm going to change properties again and uncheck bold. There we are. And now I can go in and use extract properties. And no, it's because it's grouped. It doesn't grab the properties of the text. So, so I'm going to go ungroup unlock the group first, and then I'm going to use extract properties of the text. To see the color changed here. Can lock the group now again. And if I go into the text, see we are at the 600. I'm going to set the angle to 0, and then that's my text for further seas. So I can go in, draw a line along here and say draw text along a curve and say this is the frozen ocean. And so on. I think I've got the compassors here. What I wanted to show you is the navigation lines actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the borders catalog here. And there's my navigation lines. I'm going to use the snap modifier. I might choose a larger grid here because we are by default on a very small grid, 20 miles. So let's do a 500-mile grid. 60, it's a whole world, so 500-mile grid isn't that large at all. Grab that, and I'm going to put it on some important points on my map. One here, and one here. I can also put it more in later, but I'm going to stay with these 3 for the moment. And I should now be able to trim these lines to the edges of the map. Here I want to trim lines to the top here. Then I just click the symbols that go in that direction and they trim to those map borders. Cat already again. My God, we have lots of other today. Here we go. And this one. This one, this one, this one. Then check the lower border here, this one, and this line, this line, this line, and this line. Still forgotten some. This line here, this line, going back to the northern edge. And here I've forgotten this one. Nope, that was the wrong one. There we go. And this way you can see the symbols for the navigation lines are nicely behind the coast, and therefore they're just visible on the ocean. And this way you can create some nice lines on the map, reminiscent of old style sea maps with their navigation lines. What I can also do is I'm going to grab the compass rose and put one, make it a bit larger perhaps, and put it on one of the points, and put in the scale bar. And for that I'm going to have to check how big it is, say, because the default one size is 100 miles, so if I put in 50 it would be 5,000 miles. See, it's a large map. Let's put that in here, and then you can put in the number, the 5,000 scale miles, showing here on the scale bar. And that's how you build up your map. As you can see, we're already a good stretch towards a finished map here. We just need to fill in these continents with a bit of mountains and content, and that would be ready with a world map with a very nice and intricate and interesting coastline. I quite like this set of bays here with the isthmuses and stuff. Looks like for some interesting political geography. All right, and I think with that we're going to call it a map and a day and a mapping session. And I hope you liked our little excursion into combination of Fractal Terrains and Campaign Cartographer. Next week I'll probably go back to my regional Mike Schley map that I've started last week, and perhaps finish that. Otherwise, hope you create your own nice maps and share them on the forum and the Facebook group. See you there, or see you back again next week. As usual, don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a nice evening, day, or whatever lies ahead of you. All the best.